Hey everybody, Wave 3 News Meteorologist Ryan Hoke here with a grab-and-go weather update. Man, is this going to be a perfect day or what? Temperatures in the lower 70s. We're going to be very close to a record high temperature of 74, set back in 1891. 2 degrees below that at 72. That's our high here in the city today. All right, let's talk about today's Hokey weather fact, ground sweat. Have you heard of it? Well, it's a term you've probably not heard of before, and it happens when warm air moves over a cold ground. And sometimes this layer of moisture, very thin, forms on the ground. It makes the ground look wet after an evening or an overnight period when it didn't rain at all. That's called ground sweat. And you've learned that word on today's Hokey weather fact. Sun's coming up, a little bit of fog you can see in the distance there, right along the river on our Kentucky One Health SkyTrack camera at Jewish Hospital in downtown Louisville. Temperatures starting out in the 40s this morning. We have started out with some fog as well, mainly along and north of the Ohio River. You'll see the 4 miles of visibility here in the city, 8/10 in Jasper, about a quarter mile of visibility up in Seymour. Use the low beams if you run into some of that this morning before it mixes out. Otherwise, some clouds moving in. That's limiting the fog potential for areas south of Louisville at this time, but all of us seeing a little bit of cloud cover now. Clouds are going to be a big deal south of the Western Kentucky and Bluegrass Parkways this afternoon as we see more of them down there. It's just a mix of sun and clouds for us here in the Louisville Metro today. We're in what's called the warm sector between the cold front, the warm air moving in from the Gulf of Mexico. That system yesterday that gave us the very strong winds over eastern Canada now, and it's just going to be a nice breeze for us today. None of that crazy 49-mile-per-hour wind gust stuff like we had yesterday today. Here's what it looks like on Futurecast. We're going to be in the mid-60s by noontime. Eat lunch outside. Take the kids out to the park. Take a walk along the river. Go to the pedestrian bridge. I don't care what you do today. Get outside. I know that is on my agenda for the afternoon for sure. 70 degrees by 4 o'clock. I think we'll edge up 2 degrees above that to around 72 for a high temperature. Some isolated showers start to move in as we go throughout the evening, though. By after midnight, that's when the heavier, steadier rains begin to move in from the west. Basically, a disturbance moves right along a stalled out front that's going to be over us during that time. So that's why the heavier rain sets up pretty much along I-64. Can't rule out some thunder with this. Can't also rule out some thunder south of Louisville through Sunday afternoon when some of these showers may reactivate into a thunderstorm or two down there. But really, it's going to be during the morning when we see these bands of rain moving through. The front pushes this all south of Louisville during the afternoon. Temperatures only get up into the upper 50s for highs, and we'll get down into the mid-40s by Sunday evening. Rainfall totals up to an inch, basically right along I-64. This could shift plus or minus 20 miles north or south of I-64, but pretty much at this point, an inch, maybe a little more than an inch of rain possible in a very narrow band there, as you see here on Futurecast. Most of the models for Louisville going with around somewhere between 3/4 of an inch and an inch of rain, some going a little bit above that. It just depends on where that heavier band of rain sets up. All right, here's the 7-day breakdown. Wanted to give you a look at this to kind of set the stage for things that are going to be happening both this weekend and the next upcoming week. The basketball today with U of L taking on Duke at the KFC Yum Center. Some folks eating brunch early. It's not going to be too cool out there, certainly around 60 by 10 o'clock. And as you're leaving, maybe eating some lunch afterwards, 70 for the temperature there. I must be hungry. I'm quoting all the meal times, aren't I? Oh, goodness. All right, by Sunday, we've got the Bruce Springsteen concert. That's going to be at the KFC Yum Center. It'll be a little chillier. The rain will be out of here by that point. 54 degrees as we start out. Maybe you're heading out for dinner Sunday night before the concert. If you're leaving the concert during the late night hours, we'll be back into the 40s. Monday looks good. Tuesday, I think at this point the rain chance is going to be only 20% in our eastern counties. Let's show you the setup for this, all right? This involves 2 waves of energy. The first, moving through as we go throughout Tuesday, it looks like at this point it's going to miss us off to the east, all right? So eastern Kentucky gets some rain out of this. That's it. The rain snow line far too far north for any sort of issues. This is a big change from the models yesterday on this. The second wave over the Arklatex as we go throughout Tuesday morning and afternoon. By Wednesday, it moves into the areas west of the Appalachians in Kentucky. That is a track that is favorable for a winter storm, but, and I do say a but here, we may not have enough warm air for something like that, or enough cool air, I should say. It may be too warm. We'll start out as rain for sure, I think, on this, but the problem is what happens on the western side of this. Will the cold air wrap in quickly enough to give us a pretty good band of snow? Some models, including the GFS, saying, yes, that is possible. The Euro saying, while the rain snow line is east of us, the surface temperatures may be a little warm, so it may not accumulate much. So we'll keep an eye on this. Confidence meter to 4, and I've raised that from a 3, because at least we're seeing now the 2 distinct waves. The timing is getting nailed down. but the rain to snow situation on Wednesday is still tenuous at best. So we're going to have to keep up with this one over the next several days. This is why we tell you to keep up with our forecast. Weather changes, forecast change. You can't always get it right the first time, right? So you got to get more and more accurate as you go along here, because our forecasts generally do get accurate as you go, especially into the 2 to 4 day time frame here. We're still just outside of that there. So by tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, I think we'll have a better idea of what's going to happen. Thursday, Friday, both some small chances of maybe some rain or flurries in there. High temperatures only in the 30s on Friday. Now, in the earliest alert outlook, I will say that next Saturday, 1 week from today, even though I've got us in the 40s with a partly cloudy sky there, I just saw the 6Z GFS here, and it's putting in another Clipper-type system. It's been hinting at that for Friday or Saturday for about the last week now. It's still trying to figure out where that is, and it's still kind of fading it off and putting it back on depending on the run that you look at. So we'll have to watch for a light snow system probably sometime between that Friday and that Saturday. That would be next weekend when that happens. Otherwise, as you see, some moderation in temperature, but the models aren't really concrete on that at this time. There may be a rain to snow chance the 3rd through the 4th, but that's so far out we can't tell you that with certainty yet. All right, enjoy the nice weather today. 72 degrees, near a record high temperature. Get outside. If you don't, I will find you, because you got to carpe diem. You got to seize the day. You got to make it good if the weather's this good in the month of February. That's it for now, folks. I'm meteorologist Ryan Hoke. I will see you tomorrow morning on Sunrise, starting bright and early at 5 a.m.